Good morning and thank you for joining me. In this video, I would like to look at proofs that destroys the heliocentric model of the Earth. We will look at geocentric model or geocentrism in detail. In astronomy, the geocentric model, also known as geocentrism or the Ptolemaic system, is a superseded description of the universe with Earth at the center. Under the geocentric model, the Sun, the Moon, the stars, and the planets all orbit the Earth. The geocentric model served as the predominant description of the cosmos in many ancient civilizations, such as those of Aristotle and Ptolemy. Two observations supported the idea that the Earth was the center of the universe. First, from the view on Earth, the Sun appeared to revolve around Earth once per day, while the Moon and the planets have their own motions. They also appear to revolve around Earth about once a day. The stars appear to be on the celestial sphere, rotating once each day along an axis through the north and south geographic poles of Earth. Second, Earth does not seem to move. From the perspective of an earthbound observer, it appears to be solid, stable, and unmoving. Ancient Greek, Roman, and medieval philosophers usually combined the geocentric model with a spherical Earth. It is not the same as the older flat Earth model implied in some mythology. The ancient Jewish Babylonian uranography pictured a flat Earth with a dome-shaped, rigid canopy called a firmament placed upon it. However, the ancient Greeks believed that the motion of the planet were circular and not elliptical, a view that was not challenged in Western culture until the 17th century during the synthesis of theories by Copernicus and Kepler. Remember, those are the liars that have changed everything in the face of the Earth. They have changed our beautiful flat Earth into a globe in order to support whatever notion or claim they had. The astronomical prediction of Ptolemy's geocentric model were used to prepare astrological and astronomical charts for over 1,500 years. The geocentric model held sway into the early modern age, but from the late 16th century onward, it was gradually superseded by the heliocentric lie of Copernicus, Galileo, and Kepler. There was much resistance to the transition between these two theories. Christian theologians were reluctant to reject the theory that agreed with Bible passages, as seen in Joshua chapter 10, verse 12. Others felt a new unknown theory could not subvert an accepted consensus for geocentrism. Now let's look at the ancient Greek philosophy. The geocentric model entered Greek astronomy and philosophy at an early point. It can be found in pre-Socratic philosophy. In the 6th century BC, Anaximander proposed a cosmology with Earth shaped like a section of a pillar, a cylinder, held aloft at the center of everything. The Sun, the Moon, and planet were holes in invisible wheels surrounding Earth. Through the holes, humans could see concealed fire. About the same time, Pythagoras thought that the Earth was a sphere, in accordance with observation of eclipses, but not at the center. They believed that it was in motion around an unseen fire. Later, these views were combined, so most educated Greeks from the 5th century BC on thought that the Earth was a sphere at the center of the universe. In the 4th century BC, two influential Greek philosophers, Plato and his student Aristotle, wrote works based on the geocentric model. According to Plato, the Earth was a sphere stationary at the center of the universe. The stars and planets were carried around the Earth on spheres or circles, arranged in the order outwards from the center. Moon, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, fixed stars with the fixed stars located on the celestial sphere. In this Minds of Air, a section of the Republic, Plato described the cosmos as the spindle of necessity, attended by the sirens and turned by the three fates. Eudoxus of Cnidus, who worked with Plato, developed a less mythical, more mathematical explanation of the planet's motion based on Plato's dictum, stating that all phenomena in heavens can be explained with uniform circular motion. Aristotle elaborated on Eudoxus' system. In the fully developed Aristotelian system, the spherical Earth is at the center of the universe, and all other heavenly bodies are attached to 47 to 55 transparent rotating spheres surrounding the Earth, all concentric with the Earth. The number is so high because several spheres are needed for each planet. These spheres, known as crystalline spheres, all move at different uniform speed to create the revolution of bodies around the Earth. They were composed of an incorruptible substance called ether. Aristotle believed that the moon was in the innermost sphere and therefore touches the rim of Earth, causing the dark spots, macula, and the ability to go through lunar phases. He further described this system by explaining the natural tendencies of the celestial element, earth, water, fire, air, as well as celestial ether. His system held that earth was the heaviest element with the strongest movement towards the center. Thus, water formed a layer surrounding the spheres of earth. Tendencies of air, fire, on the other hand, was to move upwards away from the center, with fire being lighter than air. Beyond the layer of fire were the solid spheres of ether, in which the celestial bodies were embedded. They themselves were also entirely composed of ether. Adherence to the geocentric model stemmed largely from several important observations. First of all, if the Earth did move, then one ought to be able to observe the shifting of the fixed stars due to a stellar parallax. In short, if the Earth was moving, the shape of the constellation should change considerably over the course of a year. If they did not appear to move, the stars are either much farther away than the Sun and the planet than previously conceived, making their motion undetected, or in reality, they are not moving at all. Because the stars were actually much further away than Greek astronomers postulated, making movement extremely subtle, stellar parallels was not detected until the 19th century. Therefore, the Greeks chose the simpler of the two explanations, and which was true. The lack of any observable parallels was considered a fatal flaw in any known geocentric theory, and that is still true till today. Another observation used in favor of the geocentric model at the time, and which is true up till today, was the apparent consistency of Venus' luminosity, which implies that it is usually about the same distance from Earth, which in turn is more consistent with geocentrism than heliocentrism. Not all Greeks at the time agreed with the geocentric model. People like Pythagoras were mentioned. Some Pythagoreans believed the Earth to be one of the several planets going around the central fire. Hesitas and Ekphantus, two Pythagoreans of the 5th century BC, and Heraclitus Ponticus in the 4th century BC, believed that the Earth rotated on its axis but remained at the center of the universe. such a system still qualify as geocentric. Now, in all this, one could see that the seeming confusion at the time led to people like Copernicus, who came with the force and the so-called mathematical knowledge to convince the world that the earth was spherical and rotating round the sun, or fire as it was called. Therefore, it is now necessary for all those with common sense, or who apply their senses, their God-given senses, to identify and to point out all the flaws associated with the so-called geocentric model. Hence, one must not stop until the truth is revealed. If the earth, as was known to be flat and at the center of the universe, was changed due to their so-called mind control and in accordance with the new world order, then you should know that every other thing that interests you can be turned on its head, so as not to benefit you. Therefore, I have taken and rededicate my time to ensure that I convey and bring to you proofs and reasons why I believe the earth is flat and at the center of the universe. Thank you for watching. Please drop your comment, your suggestions, and please share this video with your friends and family if you enjoy it. Thank you.